I'm Dylan Davis, and this is my linking skills video, Dance Brawler. I am team lead of Small Bag of Peas. I'm primarily the games designer and lead producer of the project, although I also helped out with some 3D art here and there. So I've got this job here for a game producer at Gaming Tech. It's just a remote job that I found a couple of days ago, and it's on the border between junior and mid-level, and it's important to note that remote is possible. I have worked on plenty of parts of the game of Dance Brawler from home. For instance, a lot of the trailer recording and also creating some of the art, and a lot of the stuff for GameX I've kept quite private, such as these printouts that I've kept in my room so that we can surprise the teams. Let's go through the list of the things that I do meet, the things that I need to work on, and what I learned from this project. So, 1 year of experience as a game producer or related production role in the games industry. I have been working on Dance Brawler for about 4 months, roughly, as the game producer. So to fit this, I would need to do this for a further 8 months, and likely turn Small Bag of Peas into a full indie studio rather than just something for university. Experience in the gambling sphere, this would be specific to this game. I could look into popular games that use gambling. Gacha games are a popular thing on mobile phones that use sort of pretty characters and stronger weapons to sort of incentivize that purchase. Deep knowledge of game development process from pre-production to live ops. So Dance Brawler was in prototype phase for the first week of development between January and February, then it changed to pre-production over February, and I created a mock-up video trailer and also a GDD explaining the requirements for the project to the team so that they could understand the vision that I had. Proved record of successful ownership of multiple projects from start to finish. I've been working on group project alongside IRP, so I fit that. Deep understanding of game design, features, mechanics, balancing, and iterations. We've gone through multiple play tests where we collected feedback and balanced the game. For instance, Impact. I posted about on LinkedIn a few days ago. This was part of the social media marketing. I gathered a lot of feedback so that GameX can have a more impressive version of the game, and the key thing with Impact was people found the level too difficult, people found the actual notes, there was too many of them and there was too little health for a first level especially, so I'm greatly reducing that. We've also done multiple playtests that I showed in pitches that include, feedback and whatnot, that's got a summary of all the changes that we've made based on that feedback. So we are listening to people and I'm listening to the team. Strong communication, collaboration, and leadership skills. Obviously, being the project lead, this is why I chose to be team lead, is I wanted to fit the role of a producer better, because generally in games, it tends to be a producer, or at least in the design field, that is leading the project, because they have an understanding of the code, they have an understanding of the art, and they have a general understanding of the design. Experience shipping games or features on tight deadlines. This I need to work on a bit. So we plan to try and release Dance Brawler on itch for free, and then because it's controlled with an Xbox 360 controller, we're looking at releasing it on Xbox in the next few months. Features on tight deadlines. We are working on currently, before GameX, a feature that forces the player to look at the character. So if I show you the trailer currently, you can see here you're very much just looking at the input UI rather than the characters. So we're working on a feature where the character will glow and they'll do a little attack, which we're trying to incorporate in the last 10 days. So stuff like, I've told the programmers lists of priorities on Jira, which has been the primary task management and bug tracking software that we've been using. There's a lot of stuff that's in progress, there's stuff that's in need reviewing. I explained to them how to use Jira, I explained how to update their time logs, we'll use mine as an example. Then you have your total time, and then you've got like how much time you spent that day. So on the 5th of February, I modeled some bins and props, and that took about 5 hours total, and then I added that to the total here. This is again a playtesting thing, so yeah, I can work on that more. Passion for games. I think I do have a passion for games. Street Fighter for the aesthetic, of course, and then Beat Saber for modes, like sort of infinite health mode or something. And then the arrows with the Friday Night Funkin' inspiration. Proficiency with production tools like Jira, Confluence, and Slack. I just mentioned Jira before. That's been the primary bug and task tracking software, where people can post updates and stuff, and I'll assign it to different people. And then I've made a bunch of epic links, so this one is tasked under design. Excellent written and verbal communication skills for documentation and presentations. So I was the one responsible for the majority of the presentation creation, and also during the talks, I was the one primarily delivering the majority of the slides. and I formatted them to start with the design, then go into the art, and then the programming, and I explained the pitch to the team a few hours before the pitch and what we would talk about. Sort of similar to a sprint format, you've got all of the assets that were developed between that last pitch and this pitch, which you would show in a sprint meeting. I've then got a development roadmap that I would update over time, showing all of the features that we were planning on creating, all the features we hadn't yet created, and of course a Gantt chart, which also updated over time. As for what I could do next, yeah, AAA game productions. So Dance Brawler is an indie game, so land a junior role, likely through QA, and then work in that AAA industry, like my internship I did at Lucid, where I worked in AAA. Team allocation and resource management, for instance, not restricting one person to one role specifically. So in the future for resource management, I could probably offload some of that to our other programmer and allow them to sort of learn each other's code. In terms of game design, stuff like playtesting earlier, and delivering features earlier, such as the animated characters, or something I definitely do next time for being a games producer or a games designer is Jira has the ability to take this, create this menu UI task and have it be based around medium priority. One issue we encountered that I could improve on next time is the note editor system versus the VFX, which the same programmer was doing both. And I sort of didn't communicate properly how the note editor system was higher priority to meet the impact deadline and various other deadlines. I could use Confluence more rather than Word. We are using Discord for communication. However, Slack is also a good experience, which I had in placement. So I primarily did a lot of the social media posts, as well as a lot of the art on the game. Pitch here for the mock-up video that I created. So I've created a lot of assets on Sketchfab, using 3ds Max, an industry standard software, including Adobe Substance. This is one of the models I created for Belladonna's level 2. As you can see, there's no textures on the back because, again, it's intended to be seen from one set perspective with the camera. I didn't have too many buildings and large environments on the art side of my portfolio. Characters as well, if I can find him. Previously I only had this one character, this human character, which has a fully covered face, and it was human. Now I've got this NPC that has a idle animation that's relatively low poly. This allowed me to test my limits with more anthropomorphic characters. Meetings, this is something I made sure people did every week. These were the first 2 meetings. They were recorded, and then the latter half of the meetings I ensured that my supervisor and the level 5 contractor was there for it. We would go through a list that I'd organised of go through each person, what they did, what they're doing next week, and any issues they have with the project. And then after that, we talk about anything relevant at that time. So the last meeting we just finished was focused on celebrating impact, and also preparing for Game X. In terms of anything future I could do for becoming a better producer, I could try different methodologies like the Agile methodology, and also learning different software, because currently we mainly used Jira, and we did use Microsoft Teams as well. However, Trello I've only used in second year, so being more multidisciplined in different types of software would be beneficial. Other software like Miro would also be helpful. So that's my linking skills video. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, see ya.